We will continue to add new record-breaking coasters to our parks over time, and we look forward to some exciting announcements on this front in the future. Also, look out for some new ride announcements coming this spring. Believe it or not, those are the words from Selim, which is the Six Flags CEO, and he said that during the company's third quarter conference call. So which parks, how large are the rides, and which parks will we see open new record-breaking coasters? Now, while I could make a whole video detailing all of the information from the third quarter conference call for Six Flags, I'd rather just focus on the more exciting parts of the call. Selim also said, "We have an exciting lineup of new rides and immersive festivals planned for 2023. And we are optimistic that our momentum will continue through the upcoming season and beyond." Now, all of this news is the news that we've been waiting for a very long time. And it sounds like Six Flags is now learning that adding new rides and attractions is one of their most important pieces of the Six Flags brand. Another exciting thing to touch on during the call, the CFO, Gary Mick, mentions that the company will be reverting their beautification capex over to new rides and attractions, and they also plan to increase this capex in the next couple of years. Then Gary goes on to say, "We are looking forward to making an announcement in the spring towards that effect, and we will definitely be investing in the attractions and rides that our customers really appreciate and have been asking for." And I have a question, are we still asking for that Giga for Great Adventure? I mean, we have to be, right? So who knows if that rumor turns out true. But let's talk about the money, because that's around $130 million going forward that will now be used again for not just cleaning up the parks, but for new rides and coasters. Which has us all wondering which parks will be getting new rides in 2023 and what type of rides are we looking at. Starting off, Six Flags Great Adventure, and I predict we could see a new flat ride open at the park and replace the old top spin. I could definitely see something like a Zamperla Air Race open in this location of the park. Six Flags Great America, I think it makes the most sense for them to add a Star Flyer, because this is the only major Six Flags park that has yet to add one. So realistically, it's only a matter of time. Something to keep in mind is that my predictions are based off of the third quarter conference call and what was said during the call. So obviously things could change, and there's a very good chance that we might not see that many new rides added in 2023, especially with how long it takes for new rides to get planned. But I am hopeful and very optimistic. As for Six Flags New England, I predict that we will see a new attraction added to Hurricane Harbor. It has been a very long time since we have seen new capital added to Hurricane Harbor, which is New England's largest water park. And I think for 2023, this will be a very smart move for the park. As for what type of slide, I could see a Pro Slide Flying Saucer make a lot of sense for this massive water park. Six Flags Magic Mountain, and I think we could see a new flat ride open. Something like a Zamperla Windstar would provide a new attraction for families to enjoy and will not take forever to get built. A lack of flat rides is a real thing for Magic Mountain, and adding this type of ride would provide something that the park does not offer. Six Flags Over Texas. Now obviously the park is set to open their new for 2020 attraction unless that gets delayed yet again. And hell, by this point the Mock Power Splash could get relocated before it opens at Over Texas. Staying in Texas for Fiesta Texas, which is another park that could really benefit from a new flat ride, and what's a better one to add than the ever so popular Zamperla Nubilez. These rides not only look fun to ride, but they are one of those type of rides where people just stop and watch it, since it's not like anything they've ever seen before. However, since it's been over 5 years since Fiesta has added any new capital to Whitewater Bay, their water park, I could very well see a new smaller water slide added, or maybe a new kids area. Remember, the parks are getting new stuff, and we can't be greedy yet. Instead, let's be thankful that this is something that's actually going to happen, because just a few months ago it sounded like we would see no new rides or coasters added to the Six Flags parks for a few more years. So I'm very thankful that things appear to be heading in the right direction for the company. Heading south to Six Flags Over Georgia, which is another park that I feel as if we can see a new water slide added to the on-site water park, since Over Georgia is pretty stacked when it comes to flat rides. So I predict that we could see a new water slide added to Hurricane Harbor for 2023. And I would personally love to see a mat racer added here, because it would really help out with the capacity of this smaller water park. Now, if your favorite Six Flags park was not just mentioned, then sadly I do not expect it to open a new attraction for the 2023 season. So hopefully that will not be the same case for the following year. While we will not see any new roller coasters at the Six Flags parks open in time for the busy 2023 season, I predict that in 2024 we will start to see some new roller coasters rise above the midways at a few Six Flags parks. In fact, I'm just taking a wild guess, but I think we could see Six Flags open anywhere from 2 to 3 new coasters in 2024. As you are thinking in your head right now about which possible parks could build one, I'm going to share with you the parks and coaster types that I think are logical choices for new investments. So, how large will these coasters be? And just like you, I honestly don't know. But the 2 parks that I want to keep an eye out for a new coaster will be Six Flags Great America and Six Flags Over Georgia. And maybe Great Adventure if the Giga rumors are really true. And I created a great video on the placement for that Giga if it does in fact happen. And you can find the link to that video in this video's description. Also, if you are interested in learning about the history of all the new roller coasters that the Six Flags chain added from the years 2000 all the way through 2020, then you have to check out this video. Again, you can find the link to it in this video's description. Now, starting off with Over Georgia, and the last roller coaster to open at the park was Twisted Cyclone back in 2018. So yeah, Over Georgia is way past due for one. Especially with Fun Spot Atlanta getting ready to open the very promising looking Air Force One, which is only around 30 minutes away. With that, I predict that we will finally see Six Flags Over Georgia open a new launch coaster. I could see this coming from Vekoma or even Intamin, and both of them offer launch coasters that would fall under the Six Flags price point. Ever since Over Georgia removed Viper, their Schwarzkopf shuttle loop coaster in 2001, the park has lacked a launch coaster. And as far as Six Flags Great America goes, well, I've said in past videos that a B&M dive would work amazing for this park. Something obviously along the same size as Cliffhanger would fit perfectly right here in the center of Great America. And let's be real here, this park really does need some TLC, and this fresh new coaster could be a huge draw. With Cliffhanger doing really well for Fiesta, I think it's safe to assume that we could see more mini dives in the Six Flags future. I do think it also makes a lot of sense if we would see a new RMC single roller coaster open up at Great America, especially because you cannot find anything else like this around. But for reliability and marketability's sake, I think a B&M mini dive makes more sense than a single roller coaster. Again, those are just my opinions. Now, I really do wish we would see more roller coasters open across the Six Flags parks in 2024, but sadly, I just don't see more than 2 opening that year. But the good news is, Six Flags appears to be back at doing what it does best, providing its guests with great rides and roller coasters. What is your take on the shocking Six Flags news regarding future rides and coasters? Also, which parks do you think will add new rides in 2023, and which ones would add a coaster in 2024? Be sure to let me know in the comments, and as always, thank you so much for watching. Remember to smile today, think positive, and keep riding coasters.